Hey guys, what's up? Jared here, Dex and Dice, Ramblings of an LGS owner, and I know I have been gone for a minute, and I apologize about that. So, story time. Um, about 2 weeks ago, yeah, about 2 weeks ago now. Anyways, there was like a mystery illness floating around the house. The boy got it first, then my girls got it, and then I ended up getting it. Um, Somehow the wife kind of dodged it a little bit. She was sick-ish for maybe a day, but everyone else got it. So that took about 3 days, maybe. And then when I woke up on that fourth day, um, and I'm still kind of recuperating from this part here, uh, I ended up with strep. Woke up that fourth day, swallowed when I first woke up and was like, that feels like glass. And, hello, my old friend kind of thing, because I used to get strep throat all the time growing up. So I was pretty well versed and great, this is strep. So, anyways, got done with the mystery illness, and then directly afterwards, here comes strep throat. So that was fun. So yeah, it's been great. Um, and I still, for some reason, man, like the sinuses, I don't know what the hell is going on with that, but they're still not 100%, and that's really annoying. But anyways, just trying to let you guys know where I've been. I've been sick, and quite honestly, guys, I've been burnt the hell out. A lot of my locals have seen that. My minions have seen that. Matter of fact, when Callie gets back from his little vacation thingy to go see his parents, I've been more or less threatened with bodily harm if I do not take like a week or two off and just say fuck this place. So I might do that, because this is I've been doing this for 4.5 years straight now. Three of those, three and a half ish of those years, while working the shop, I've had at least a full time or part time job on top of that. Not to mention, you know, running the household as far as making sure the bills are paid over there, everyone has what they want, blah, 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 all that good stuff. So, like, it's been a real interesting 4.5 years. And I think maybe about 6, 8 months ago, I just kind of reached the point of total burnout to where it's like, I just don't give a shit anymore, Um, to where, like, I just kind of make sure that the bills are paid around here, orders are put in, and stuff is working to an acceptable level. But as far as like going above and beyond and all that shit, nah, dude, I don't have it in me anymore. Um, it's just not a thing. The minions are great; they do what they're supposed to do, top notch, all that. It's just doing everything sucks, and not being able to have any sort of break except for when I get sick is kind of crap. But that's what you sign up for when you run your own business and so forth and so forth. Um, Whining and crying, yes, but I mean, at the same time, I asked for it, so, it just kind of is what it is. But, anyways, yeah, with the burnout, comes this little introspective, what the fuck am I doing with myself kind of thing. And, full disclosure, I am contemplating selling the shop. I do have someone lined up who wants to buy the shop. We're just kind of talking about it, seeing what happens, all that good stuff. There is no guaranteed, yes, I'm going to sell the shop, but it's being talked about. Just want to throw that one out there for you guys. And I'm sure you've all seen it too. Like, if you're my locals and all that, like, I care, but I don't care, yeah, so, anyways. But the whole point of this video, I guess, aside from boring you with 5 minutes of recaps and, mushy introspective crap, um, as I've said before in a previous video, but I think it needs to be reiterated since for some reason I see the big boys talking about it now, is just the terrible, terrible amount of stuff that's just available at distro as far as like Magic, well, any TCG products go, to be completely honest with you. They're all gone. Pretty much essentially all gone. Um, like 4 out of the last 6 or 7 sets of Magic, you're lucky to be able to find. And if you can find it, you can find like Aether Drift, which no one cares about at all, except for probably the land cycle in there. But that's just because I forget what got rotated out or whatever. But the verges or whatnot, or whatever they are, I can't remember, became relevant now because the last set cycled out and that land cycle went away. So, that's pretty much about the only real reason I've seen any Aether Drift cards sell, is the land cycle with little other bits here and there. Same as Karlov Manor, the Surveil lands, like, that's really about the only thing I know of that sells out of that set anymore. But yeah, like, finding decent stuff at distro level anymore is pretty much a joke. And even if you can find it, due to TCG players' lovely race to the bottom, which I fucking hate, you might as well not even buy the shit to try to sell it online, because I think like what Duskmourn boxes are going for $125 a box on TCG Player currently, and you get those at distro all day long for like $115 to $119, just depending on who you get it from and all that good stuff. So like after fees and everything, what you make a whopping $5 a box, $6, something like that. Not even $10 a box, really. So like, what the fuck is the point? I'm not Rudy. I'm not anyone who sells huge thousands amounts of boxes so that $3 per box that you make actually adds up. It's not enough to make a fuck. Sure, I get the money back that I put into it, but at a certain point, you got to kind of ask yourself, is it really worth it to spend, I'm just going to throw a random number out here, $800 on a case of something when I'm only going to end up making $830 back, or $850 or whatever. Is it really worth even sinking the money into that shit to begin with? Is it really worth the time and the effort it takes to bust open the cases, sort the cases, list the cases, and then pack and ship the singles from those cases? Is it really worth it to make that extra $50-ish, give or take, per case? And that's if things actually sell, the way you hope. Because we all know that a lot of that shit just sits there on your shelf and collects dust. And then you find someone to hopefully sell your bulk to, or if you're lucky enough to, have a fizz batch or anything like that, you make bulk lots yourself and put them on eBay or whatever, because it's way more efficient to do it that way than to sit down and try to make handmade bulk lots, because that takes hours out of your day to do, and then you gotta weigh it like that. Is like, is it really worth it for me to sit here and make these homemade bulk boxes, make, 4 or 5 a day or whatever, to just end up selling them for $15-20 or whatever in the shop, and woohoo, is it worth my time and effort when I could have been devoting that to something else? But anyways, so yeah, back to product availability. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible for any game, and that is terrible for the games themselves, because without the product, it's hard to help support the game, and it's hard to help bring in new people to help continue to play the game, to strike interest in the game, etc., etc. You can't just, we'll say, like, when something launches, you can't just have product for that week and then that's it. They maybe 2 weeks after that or whatever, and then like it's gone. Like there's no more restock. Distro doesn't have anything, or if it's like a Aether Drift or a Karlov Manor scenario or whatever, no one cares about the product. So like, why order anymore if no one cares about it? So then you're stuck with that conundrum too. And then again, like I said, you've got, the race to the bottom on TCG Player where everyone is just, okay, so I buy this for $117, I'm going to list it for $130 and just hope for the best. Even though I lose money, I'm still recuperating what I spent on it, close to. I'm only taking a marginal loss. And that's just terrible, man. It's absolutely terrible. It's really a rough time right now to be an LGS, regardless of what anyone says out there. Um, it's a rough time because your margins are crap. Um, Everyone and their brother is trying to get in on being an LGS, from like car dealerships to sporting goods stores to gas stations, you name it. Everyone's trying to get their hands in the pie. So like that limits what you can get at distro level just right off the bat. Um, where you might have been able to get, we'll say 12 cases of something, now you're only getting 8, which hurts, because it's like I've said before in other videos, it's a volume game. This is, if you can't churn over enough volume, then you're kind of just like a duck in the water, or whatever, dead duck in the water, or whatever that phrase is. You're still there, you're still chugging along, but you're not doing anything. There's no like growth really. There's nothing to like look forward to, I guess. Like, oh yay, okay, I sold through my initial allocations of this. I made the, I don't know, $300-400 or whatever it might be on top of everything that I brought in, and now there's nothing. There's nothing for me to restock. There's nothing else out there interesting to buy because everyone else has already bought it. So then you're just kind of stuck there just looking around like, okay, so what the fuck do I do? You hope that people come in with, trades and stuff like that you can just buy off of them. You hope that there's a random call one day being like, hey man, I've got this, are you interested? Because then otherwise you're just stuck there and you're churning through the product, you're eating your inventory without being able to actually replenish the inventory, So at a certain point, you're just like, the fuck, man, what's going on? Like, there's absolutely nothing to get. Anything that I can get sucks and nobody wants. Anything that I do have or can get or whatever, everyone is always pulling out their phones, going to eBay, TCG Player, or whatever, and being like, well, I can get this for $120. Why would I spend $130 here? I get it. It's your money, your prerogative. You do you, boo. So, like, and then you lose the sale that way sometimes. So sometimes people are like, yeah, fuck it, you're a local store, I got you. So you luck out on that. But there's not enough to go around. There's not enough. I don't know. It's really weird because I know that even though there's not enough to technically go around, every reprint that has been going on with like Pokemon and Wizards of the Coast, all that good stuff, has been basically bypassing distro and going straight to their own Amazon stores, or they're going straight to like Costco, Sam's Club, Target, big box stores, all that good stuff. Because from what I've gathered from watching other people and all that who, get emails to themselves or whatever, and not just Alpha Taco I'm talking about, but other people I watch too, you have those companies selling directly to those guys at what we would buy the boxes for at distro level. So like they're skipping the distro, but they're still charging the, we'll say 115, 117 per box for a play booster or something to Walmart, Target, Costco, Sam's, blah, blah, blah. And making money hand over fist that way, especially with Amazon. They just ship it to Amazon, and it's fulfilled by Amazon. They don't have to do anything else. Amazon takes their cut and boom, done. But when it comes to Amazon, they're selling their shit for that 130, 140 mark, that most LGSs have in their shop, and they're still selling it like like hotcakes. They're still selling it, but they're bypassing distro. They're bypassing us. The $50 or $80 it might cost them to actually make a box or whatever, or even like $110 it might take them to make a box. If they're selling it directly through those channels for 117 to 140 a box, that's a decent amount of profit considering the sheer volume that they're pumping out. And I can't blame them for that because it makes sense. In their position, I would probably do something similar. But it sucks for shops like mine or anyone else's really that like that's your lifeline, that's your lifeblood, like you don't have I hate using Alpha Taco as a example here, but like we don't have his reserves. We don't have warehouses full of shit that we can just pull from. Be like, oh well, I don't have anything to offer this month from recent sets, so let's go back to like Kaldheim and Strixhaven and all that good stuff and put those on the docket and see what happens. We don't have that kind of a backlog of inventory. I love you, Alpha Taco, not throwing shade, not at all. But like it's just what it seems to be like what the big box stores and what Amazon doesn't take or whatever that they just decide to give to distro. We get the scraps. And then from those scraps, you have the big players getting the vast majority of the scraps. And then everything else just kind of trickles down to, oh, hey, I see you, I see you want something. Here's a case. Be thankful you got a case. It's like, well, okay, what the fuck am I going to do with a case? Like, sure, I can sell it and make my, thanks to the secondary bottom brace fucking shit, pricings that everyone likes to try to go down, I can make my $60, maybe $100 per case, and thanks, that does nothing for me. That is a small little, drop in the bucket of what I actually need to be able to continue doing everything. Now if I can continuously do that week over week, month over month, whatever, like, sure, that's fine because you sell enough, like I said, volume, you sell enough, you go through, that's fine. That will perpetuate itself. That's the way it's kind of supposed to be. You order something this week, you blow through it, you make your $300, $400, $500 or whatever, and then you use that to, not the profit mind you, but you use what you recouped to buy another X amount to where you hopefully make another $400, $500, $600 off of that, and you just keep the churn going. That's what's supposed to happen. That's really not happening currently. Like I said, at the first week or two of a launch, maybe 3 weeks, sure, that's a thing. But then there's like a month and a half long period there where you're just kind of scratching your head being like, okay, so the fuck do I do now? There's nothing. I can't give a restock. I have people coming in looking for X, Y, and Z, but I don't have it because I sold through everything that I had, and there's nothing available at distro level to get, so I'm losing out on sales. I'm pissing people off because I never have anything in stock, and go, and that's just, it's horrible. It really is. It's just an interesting time because, like, I know that sounds all doom and gloom, and it kind of is, but like it's not to the point to where it's like one of those, oh shit, I'm gonna go under tomorrow because I'm not making sales kind of thing. You're getting, at least a small shop like mine, you're getting enough to perpetuate yourself, to do what you need to do and all that good stuff. But like at the end of the day, when everything is done, everything is paid, all that good stuff, you're looking in your bank account and you're like, I have $100 left. Like after everything is over and done with, there's a whopping, these are just random numbers, mind you. I have $100 left. After all of that work, paying all that shit, figuring all that out, putting myself through all that stress, getting the minions to do what they need to do, doing events. I don't do events and the minions set it up and all that good stuff, but like running events, doing prize support for events, and everything in between from like open to close and all that good shit, you're like, I have $100 left over. Wow. way worth it, guys. Way worth it, you know? So, anyways, I guess I just kind of need to vent a tad bit. Because something needs to get figured the fuck out. It really does. And it's not just with Magic, it's with Flesh and Blood, you know, Digimon, especially Gundam, dear God, One Piece, Union Arena. Pretty much any fucking game out there is printing not enough to where everything goes around to where you can do a restock, you know, and like the smaller games like Grand Archive and stuff like that, I completely get it. Small game, small niche crowd of people. I understand the low quantity numbers for that, where it's like one and done runs, and like I get it. But like, there's really no excuse for Pokemon, Magic, Konami, Bandai, you know, to just print what they print and then poof, that's it. Sorry guys, we're done. Maybe you'll get another reprint wave in 4 months, you know, of the first set that came out, you know, this year. Because, like, we're still waiting on a fucking Dragons of Tarkir reprint, you know. We're still waiting on Bloomborough reprint, which, I mean, Bloomborough's already been reprinted like 2 or 3 times, so that's not really that big of an issue. But, like, these sets that are supposed to be standard and are supposed to be, you know, in stock and in rotation for the next 3 years, or you're supposed to be able to get them whenever you want them. They're supposed to be readily available. And I'm talking about play boosters here, not like collector boxes or anything like that. I'm talking about the backbone of the game itself, your play boosters. Those are gone. And it's kind of weird, man, because like I said, you're supposed to be able to get these, you're supposed to be able to stock these, you're supposed to be able to feed these to the people because they want them and all that good stuff, and then you just can't, because Carl's Car Wash down the road and Jim Bob's, you know, Jim Bob's Auto and, you know, Cabela's Sporting Goods and, you know, Brady's gas station and all that shit, they're dipping in there and taking part of the supply too. And something needs to get figured the fuck out. Someone needs to figure out some way to, I don't know, man. Like, it's an issue that's way above my pay grade to figure out, you know, because, like, just because you can have access to distro doesn't mean you should be able to get what an actual legitimate brick and mortar game store should be able to get, you know. Like, if you sign up for distro and you're a fucking gas station, you should be bottom of the list, like, fuck you, buddy, you get what's left, you know. Or, you know, a car dealership or any of that shit like that, you should be bottom of the list, fuck you, don't care what you're offering, you know. You get what's left. That's the only thing I can really kind of think of that might be a thing to do, which is supposedly what happens at distro level. However, I'm not retarded. No one else is retarded. We all know that if someone says, hey, I've got $30,000, give me, you're gonna give them. And that kind of money is just something that a lot of smaller shops like mine just simply don't fucking have, dude. Like, there's no way in hell I could just drop 30K on something right now. No, just can't. So, anyways, I'm done rambling. It's been about 25 minutes. I know you guys are probably tired of hearing me ramble. But, anyways, I'm back. I'll probably do, hopefully, another video in a week or two. I really hate putting out random crap that you guys have already seen from other places and all that. Like, sure, you might want to know my perspective on stuff, but for some reason it just feels like, I don't know, just parroting the same shit that everyone else is parroting. It makes me feel like, oh hey, you're an original dude, man, go for it, you know. But at the same time, like I said, some of you might actually want to know my perspective on it, so here, let me know in the comments what you think. By all means, give me ideas for stuff that's going on. Let me know what you'd like to know. We are partnered with BCW now, so there will be a link in the description to where if you use the link, you'll get 10% off of your order through BCW, and we do get a small kickback for that order. So by all means, go to BCW, get some sleeves, binders, card boxes, comic book boxes, whatever. Check it out. Help us because we're greedy little money hoarders here, or trying to be at least. So yeah. That being said, guys, you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. As I like to say, life is not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard, and you're a trash can, not a trash can't. And yeah, just be good and be safe out there. Y'all have a good one.